Welcome to the Virginia is for Laughers podcast, brought to you by X2 Comedy. If you're looking to get more out of your Shenandoah Valley experience, then this is the podcast for you. You'll meet interesting people, the comedians that perform here, and find out more about what you can do and see. Whether you live here or plan to visit, listen to explore what helps make up our unique slice of heaven. Now here's your host, Dawn Davis Womack.
Hello, laughers. I am thrilled to introduce to you these Virginia-based hilarious comedians. Bennie Blonkoe Perry is a 16-year comedy vet out of Richmond. He's performed in Chicago, the Carolinas, down to Atlanta, and back up again. From acting to impersonations, he's a true entertainer. Travis Spencer, once an All-American basketball star turned meteorologist, and now savvy comedian, has graced stages with a host of comedic legends. Both have performed for X2 Comedy before and are coming back. We're so excited you are both performing at our kickoff Comedy and Kizomba event coming up. It's part dance lesson, part comedy show. Welcome, Bennie and Travis.
Hey, what's up? I didn't know I was gonna be with the weatherman. It's like meteorologist. Hold on now.
It got chilly all of a sudden.
Right. Cumulus clouds rolling in. Like what's going on here? Like,
yeah,
gotta know what's going on up there.
Yeah, all-star back. I just thought he was tall. I didn't know he was. I didn't know he was an all-star at some point. Like, you set me up, Don.
I did. I kept you in the dark, Bennie. I kept you in the dark.
I'm feeling under successful right now. Like, it's like, yeah, Bennie's a college dropout with former correctional officer. Like, look, I have not been anywhere near being a meteorologist. Like, yeah, you had that with the school.
It was just an associate.
Just stick your arm out the window, like, oh yeah, it look like it might rain today. It's a little chilly. Yeah,
I know.
Like,
right?
Yeah. So Doppler radar here, like it's all. Like, just stick your arm out. We'll find out.
You know, I gotta give the listeners some context about this show, this Meet Your Lineup show. We've made a few attempts at this, and then what ended up happening is, Bennie, you drove up to Northern Virginia where Travis lives, and you all are meeting each other for the first time right now, and and recording this episode in your car, Bennie. Isn't that right?
Yep.
That's what's happening. Yep. And that's why he's all surprised to find out that Travis is all American basketball star meteorologist.
I literally went up to like 6 different guys, like, Travis? 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 Like, is it you?
I think this is amazing already. See,
I had to go to his Facebook page and see a picture of him.
Right. Don't want to walk up on the wrong person. You'd be like, it's like Uber. Like, are you my Uber driver? Are you the guy that came to pick me up? It's like, nah, I don't do Uber. I'm just parked right here, man. Get away from my vehicle. You're scaring me. But yeah, nothing wrong with first time meetings, and I ended up having to be up on this end of the day anyway. So I said, we can do it. We can handle it that way.
I love it. I love it.
All works out.
And we're already having a blast. I want to start with this particular question because when I meet other comedians, I find it so incredibly amazing how different their stories are in terms of how they got into doing stand-up. There's no cookie cutter way. There hasn't ever really been one. And I wanted to start off by asking each of you, how did you get started in comedy? And open mic, what did that look like for each of you?
Who you want first? You want?
Well, Bennie, I think you've said a lot for right now.
Yeah, so we'll let Travis start out.
Let Travis start out.
I just got started the basic way. Some hard times in the family. My grandma was always hilarious. My mom was always hilarious. So laughter in the house was always good. But then you have the sad stories that you turn into inspirational stories. And when I seen what laughter does to people, how it brightens up their day, I was like, I like to do that. So I started pretty much in in elementary school joking on people. And then by the time I got to middle school, I knew I was good because all the bullies and everybody wanted to fight me and stuff like that. They were like, we're going to whoop your ass at 7:30 or 3:30 after school. We're going to whoop your ass because, I was making everybody laugh at lunchtime or sometime during the day, and one of those nicknames may have stuck. I know a couple of them did. Like we had one girl, her name was Dee Dee, but I called her DDB, and they was like, why is that? I said, for doo-doo breath. And then after that one, I had numerous amount of people trying to fight me, and I would outsmart them, talking about, I'd be there at 3:30. Yeah, be at the gym at 3:30. I'm gonna whoop everybody's ass. And at 3:30, I'm on somebody else's bus going home.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that I was on to something special, but I had to perfect the craft and learn not to offend anybody in comedy. So it's just pretty much been my lifestyle all my life. I wouldn't do anything in the world other than trying to make people laugh. I tried all the other jobs, Don.
Meteorologist.
Yeah, and that's actually how it got started, like with open mic. That's how my open mic started, is I was down in Tennessee and I was doing the weather, and they was like, damn, man, you making the weather funny. And they were calling in the radio station talking about, who's the coon? So I didn't know what that was.
Mm-hmm.
So I just heard them mentioning and defending me, saying we don't have any coons here or any kind of tar babies or anything like that here.
Mm.
And I was like, are they really saying that, Mike? And he was like, yeah. So I made this one episode of the news hilarious. I mean, they don't have any pools in Tennessee unless you have one in your backyard or you go to the hotel.
Mm.
So we did a freeze frame of the water of this lake, and I dove into the screen. And then while I was out of the screen, I came back from the bottom with my face drenched and my shirt drenched. Like, you better get you a swim today.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta get in that water. It's kind of hot today. So the phone line started ringing, and then all of a sudden Mike said, we can't pay you as a meteorologist, but we can get you some money some other way. And they took me up to Cotton Eye Joe's, and they had open mic. And I told them I don't have any material, and they said, you got plenty of material, just talk about your day. And I did that, and I won the first place prize of $500. And yeah, they had a $500 every Wednesday at Cotton Eye Joe's.
Wow.
So I won that for 2 months running strong. And then when I came home, I was like, I'm gonna be a comedian, and I just made the strides to do it. And so I surrounded myself around people that were like-minded and wanted to do it and take it serious.
I love that. That's incredible. Well, I love that story. Now I can't wait to hear Benny's story. How'd you get started? You're a 16-year vet now, so.
Well, many moons ago. If my story ain't as glamorous as his, because I ain't win no $500 up right off the bat. I probably
neither,
wouldn't.
Benny.
Look, if I had won $5, you talking about for a couple months running, talking about you can pay rent off of oh yeah, I probably wouldn't even be still doing comedy because my head would have been so swole. But yeah, I was I've always been fascinated with it as a kid. I was, Nickelodeon, Nick at Night kid, watching different shows, and I was a latchkey kid. So, you come home, let yourself in, make your food, watch TV after you do your homework, of course. But I've always wanted to be in entertainment, but I never knew how. I always just thought people got discovered. Like, you're with your family at a gas station or something, and you do something, and some guy, hey, you kid, come here, do that again. And it's like, hey, man, got a bright future for you, kid. And it's like, I've made it. I'm 8 years old. I'm on my way. Fast forward to 22 years old, ain't nobody discovered me yet. So I was in Correctional Officers Academy. And I would always, at the time, Chappelle show was just out, and that was the it thing. Internet wasn't really that big yet. So whenever the instructor would leave the class, because I've always been the class clown, even though my yearbooks don't say it, I'm the official class clown. I would always finish my work and just pick and joke with everybody until I get kicked out of class. But so every time the instructor would leave, I would start impersonating and copying Dave Chappelle from Chappelle's show. So I would, Cole and Pow, Condoleezza Rice. Condoleezza Rice sounds like a Mexican dish. Why don't we send her down to Mexico so the Mexicans will eat her? White power. So, and I would do this every day, every time the instructor left the class. And then this lady, she, just casually one time, she was like, you're really funny. She was like, have you ever tried stand up? And I was like, well, I always wanted to, but I don't know what to do with it. And she was like, because the academy was in Goochland. And she's like, well, the Richmond Funny Bone is right around the corner, which is in Short Pump in Richmond. And I signed up that month. This was back 2005, March of 2005. I went and signed up that month. And the first time I did it, I got bit by the bug, and that was pretty much that. I got disqualified the first time because I went over time. I would have won that night. Second place the second time I performed. And then I didn't place again for 10 years at this particular place. We only did it once a month. In the beginning, we paid $25 to perform. And then a year or two in, they switched it to a bringer format, which is, you bring your friends and family.
30 people.
Yeah. And bring at least 10 people bring at least 10 people that's going to get you on it. Because this is right around recession time and all of that.
30 people paying.
Bring people with you. They're going to get in free, and that gets you on the actual show. And because of me coming from Emporia, Virginia, all the way up to Richmond, it was hard to get people from Emporia to come up to Richmond, round up 10 people to even bring. So I may have my car, my mom's car, my brother's car, and it's 4 people in each car. And I'm like, all right, we're headed to Richmond. I bought basically a Scooby-Doo van one time. I spent $700 on this Volkswagen van. It was yellow and white with the tan leather insides. It was, your Beatles, Mr. Submarine type van thing. Like, it was the Monkees. And I never got it on the highway to get the people up there. Ended up selling it back to the guy I bought it from for $500. So I lost $200 holding it for those 6 months. And eventually, when I started working for Wackenhut, a security company, a few years later, and then I eventually moved to Richmond. And when I moved to Richmond, which was 11 years ago now, I was able to be more active with it and do more shows and more open mics, because I was only performing once a month for the first 5 or 6 years of me doing it. And then when I moved to Richmond, I was able to do more mics, meet more people. And I've been in a performance group. I've done 2 independent films. I've done a documentary. Like I said, I've been all up and down the East Coast performing. I've gotten to meet and open up and perform for a lot of different comedians. Tony Woods was just at Carpool last Monday. I had Cool Bubba Ice from BET Comic View and Def Comedy Jam. I had him in Richmond a couple months back. So I've been able to not a couple months back, a couple weeks back. So I've been able to make a lot of connections over the 16 years. But yeah, if that lady had told me that the Funny Bone was there, I probably still wouldn't have figured out a way to get into it yet.
You'd still be a correctional officer.
No, I wouldn't still be a correctional. No,
definitely
I did
not
that for a year.
Okay.
I did that for a year and 8 months. And my mom did that job application for me because I did not want to work at the prison. So my mom did the application. She turned it in. And she was like, all right, your interview Monday at 12 o'clock. And I'm like, all right. And I went and, got the job. And I did it for a year and 8 months. And then I switched to Wackenhut, which was more money. And I went from watching inmates all day to watching Marlboro cigarettes all day. So it was a safer job for me to sit and watch boxes and, cartons of Newport, cartons of Marlboro and Middleton Company tobacco and stuff. So, and that job was just checking IDs. And when people got fired, making sure they went out the gate. So it was a more smooth job than, than lock and key and all of that. But, I enjoyed it. And 16 years later, I've still at it, still pushing forward. I made some sprinkles of money from time to time, but it's been even if I wasn't getting paid, I would still do it. You know,
I know it's like we have to do it, isn't it? It's like
you feel weird if you're not. You know, a couple months go by and you haven't touched the mic. You're like, all right, and you know your significant other's trying to figure out why you're moping around the house. And it's like, 'cause I miss my woman. It's like, I'm right here. No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Microphoneina. I haven't been able to say her.
Microphoneina.
Microphoneina.
Oh
I haven't seen my baby in a while. You know, I'm sad.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so now you guys been doing this for a while. You have to have developed some sort of style to your comedy. Travis, if you had to describe your comedy style, how would you best describe it to the listeners?
I would say a new reincarnated Richard Pryor.
All right. You know what's very interesting about that before Benny answers? X2 Comedy is unique in that we are a clean comedy PG-13. So we actually have we work with comics that work blue, but are able to do clean sets. And then we also work with comics who work clean exclusively. And the PG-13 is there because the tendency for my blue comics is their clean line seems to be a little looser.
Yeah.
And so little wiggle room, but it also provides a space where people from all walks of life can come together and share laughter with one another. So absolutely. I love that. And you two are both able to do that. Not every comic wants to or can. And I really appreciate that the two of you are willing to come on our stages and make that transition. So
the transition has been beautiful. And it helped me to become a better writer and articulate a little bit more, because you can expand your vocabulary, and then you could stretch those words and make it funny. So I've always been down with the challenge. Even when you run venues and you're there every week, the bartenders and everyone, they know your jokes. They didn't heard them 101 times. And I remember at Bridges, they were like, when I first started out, they were like, okay, we heard about the weed. We heard about this. We heard about that. We heard about this. We heard about that. And I was like, so what are you saying? Tell us something new. So every week they challenged me to not talk about anything from the previous week. So if I spoke on it that week, I couldn't talk about it no more that month. So, and that was a great challenge from them that they put on me, that they didn't think I would be able to do it, and was able to do it. And it just have you feeling like a certain way. Like, it doesn't matter what venue the laughter is needed in. It's the fact that you can go in there, do what you have to do, and then when you leave, somebody's like, you made my day.
Yes, that's the best part. Yes,
that's the best part.
That is the best part. I know. I'm more into it for hearing them laugh than I am to hear myself speak. I want them to feel good and take a break from life. Yeah, you guys feel the same way? It sounds yeah, absolutely.
It's therapeutic, and then it also has helping someone else get their mind off of. You're clearing your mind while helping them get their mind off of other serious things that are going on with being a human on Earth. So, it kind of like, all right, I'm clearing my mind of clutter while taking your mind off of everything you got going on, which is the same stuff I got going on. But I'm gonna deal with that later. Right now, let's get you in a happy space.
Right.
I agree.
Everybody in a happy space.
Yeah.
Yes, everybody in a happy space. Yes, and Benny too. I want to get to you on the comedy style. Before we transition to the next question, if you had to describe your comedy style, how would you describe it best to the listener?
It's like a hodgepodge. I don't get to use that word often. So it's a little bit of everyone, but a lot of no one. So it's me being myself and knowing that I can normally dive deep. Like I am a blue comedian, generally. Most of the time I'm blue, but I've learned clean a lot of times pays more and is more frequent jobs. And also, depending on the aspect, the way you're coming from, clean is, the format. If you go on America's Got Talent to present your comedy, you're going to have to be clean. Mm-hmm. Like I have a friend of mine whose son did it not too long ago, and they needed someone at the last minute. And I didn't have anything ready, and it was like 3-day notice. And I was like, man, that's kind of a tough thing to pull off, 3 days to put a whole video together of all clean material. I had to do it for Stand Up Is Miller Time a couple years back when they had Virginia in their competition. But it I like a lot of the newer comedians, I tell them, have you ever been funny at work? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, do you curse at work? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay. So if you can go to work and be funny and not curse, then you can get on stage and be funny and not curse and not have too much sexual innuendo or, too much vulgarity. Vulgarity and controversial material. So I akin it to, you can always talk about if you have kids and family, you can normally do clean. Work, you can do clean. Foods, other activities, sports, things of that nature. Those are also subjects that you can do clean. Growing up, everybody was a kid at some point. Even though if you look at them and couldn't fathom it and don't believe it, they were a child at some point as well. So you can always use growing up as a clean subject, an area that you can touch on. I can talk about being a kid without having to curse because I wasn't cursing as a kid. And it's just retelling experiences that I've had. So, but, some of it's impersonations, even though I don't use them that much. It's kind of just an ace in the hole if I, just want to show off sometimes. But it's literally knowing and learning my style is being able to adjust in whatever room I'm in and present to that room what I feel they come looking for that evening. So I'm able to kind of be a chameleon, and make those on the, off the cuff necessary changes. If something didn't work, then I know how to shift gears completely and go a completely different direction with the subject matter. So my style is more of a liquid as opposed to a solid. It can conform to whatever glass I put it in.
Man, that's deep. That was like water, man. It can feel like water.
Yeah.
Okay, Bruce Lee.
Yeah, you gotta,
Okay.
Be like water, my friend.
Bruce Bennie.
Water can crash, but it can also
become one.
Yeah. Boards don't hit back. Like
that was deep and also fabulous. I love how you shared, you're showing up to meet the audience and where they're at. And the goal is we want people to laugh and have a good time. And there's different strokes for different folks, and people have different interests in comedy styles. To me personally, funny is funny. I mean, one of my favorite blue comedians out there is Bill Burr. So, I can appreciate, blue humor and clean humor. And it just, X2 wants to provide a space where people blue can work clean and where people can kind of meet in the middle and have a good time, Yeah,
because it's everyone has their fate. Because it's like, all right, everyone curses. Even people that say they don't. You go and curse. Stump your toe real good.
I do. Real good. Every time I'm on I-81, you
something's coming out. Yeah.
Oh, there it is, a road rager.
Something comes out.
A road raging cursor.
Whether you're apologizing after every time, like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. So it's or some people were cursors or more vocal people in their younger age, and they grew out of it.
Hey, my grandma grew out of it. She was a cursor all the way up until got to a certain age, but then she wouldn't curse Monday through Saturday. She would only curse on a Sunday
She picked the
for 10 minutes in that parking lot, leaving and coming.
Yeah.
From the church? Was it from the church?
Yeah, boy, there was something about that parking lot that brought out the devil.
Yeah. And it happens, it's one of those things. So and I appreciate a person that can be like, okay, I don't necessarily say it, but I'm not opposed to it when it happens. Yeah. But it's an excellent extra skill set to have when you go back. Like Sinbad doesn't curse, but has been doing comedy 30-some, almost 40 years, and has sold out shows all over the country, all over the world, and you don't realize it until you go back and like, wow, he actually never cursed.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a few others that have, are able to do that. And then you'll see him off camera and hear him cursing. You're like, well, why not? Like with Will Smith, he doesn't curse in his music, but you've heard him curse in movies and in interviews. And you're like, well, why not? And he's like, I don't use it in that format. I have a bigger vocabulary that I can put and formulate better words together than to rely on using the curse.
Yeah,
and
that's a personal choice.
It's an art. Yeah, it's an art form in itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I don't fault any comedian for whatever direction they want to go. You want to find your voice, and work in spaces that you can bless somebody in. So that's kind of my personal philosophy. This has been a hard year, you guys, with COVID-19, just in life in general and for comedy. I think it would be very interesting for the listeners to hear, if you did any comedy over COVID, what did that look like? Were they outdoor shows? Did you decide to, focus your energy in a different direction, or maybe a combination of both? What did COVID look like for you guys last year?
COVID for me was just trying to survive and make sure the family is healthy. Once the world shut down, I felt a certain aura like over the comedy era, because it was uncertainty, and that for us, that's how we make our money. That's how I was able to support my family. So it took I had to look in the mirror, and I had to observe the comedy situation and try to figure out where the curve is going. I'm not a real big social media guy where I'm going to be doing 100 selfies a day and letting everybody know all my business. So I had to think of ways to reinvent myself, and through the process, the good thing that was working in my favor during the COVID is people had time to sit down and watch TV. So I had a documentary that I did on Evil Lives Here, season 7, episode 4. It's called My Brother Made History, and I was able to see the reason I got into comedy, and the passion that was like the passion that I have for comedy came out through that documentary, so people can understand that, us comedians, we have pain like everyone else. And as a comedian, we look for that laughter. So when I couldn't see it, I was looking online and seeing different comedians going to, shows at their house. And I was like, wow, I never thought that I would be, see it like this, like everybody's taking a hit. It's not one person in the world be like, oh, that didn't happen to me. So it's like it set everybody on the same page. And then once things started slowly opening back up, I did take a show, and I was rusty, but I was appreciative to have that opportunity. And on a 1 to 10, it was a 0.
He's honest about it.
It was a 0.
Yeah.
You know, as a,
I took an L.
as a comedian, you know, we know what we can bring to the table, and some nights, you know, my energy wasn't there, and it was just because I've been in the house so long, and when I saw those people, I was like, wow, and I had cotton mouth on, I couldn't talk, so basically I was up there for 10 minutes drowned, and then nobody give me no water, nothing. You know, and I was telling him, I say, man, I'm up here dying. I just need something to drink or something. I promise I'm better than this. And then every time I try to get into something, I'm a real feely, spiritual kind of guy. And it was just something just wasn't right. And I took the L, and I said, you know, it's been a long time since I took one of those. But, you know, after the L, and it's not that you lost, it's just lessons learned. I had to go back to the drawing board and realize that I'm a comedian, tell some jokes. Mm-hmm. And I didn't do that night. I was so discombobulated just being in front of people for you know, just being in the house for a whole year. And then all of a sudden you go to a couple hundred people, it's like, oh, and they not wearing a mask, and I'm like, oh Lord, you know. So it was like so much that I wanted to say, and I couldn't get it out my mouth, you know. And I wish that I had some water, because I think the mask, I had flew from here to Atlanta, and the mask sucked it dehydrated me. I couldn't talk.
Yeah, and then down there they're not wearing them at all. So it's
it was
different.
Yeah, it was like a slinky going down the step. So it's but I'm glad to see us picking back up. I'm glad to see us picking back up, and I'm just happy to be in the graces of good people, and to be able to do it another day, and another podcast, and another smile.
I love it. Yeah. That's like, a couple of comments on that. One, all of us comedians have a bomb story. If you don't have a bomb story, you're not doing comedy. So
mine's still on YouTube. It keeps me humble.
Oh, shit.
I keep it up there, just be like, when I feel like I'm the greatest, I just go to YouTube and look at that, and I'm like, yeah, you bit one that night. Let's scale it back a little bit, fella. You ain't quite at the masterful stage of this yet. So I keep it on YouTube just to remind me.
The humble.
Yeah, just to remind me, like, just when you think you got it.
Yeah. I mean, those humbling nights are, every comedian has faced them.
Yeah, I did too. Mine was at a flower festival, and I had never done, one of those kind of things. And I was newer in comedy at that time, and there was musicians on the stage. But the stage and where the first, people were, there was about a 35-40 foot difference between the stage and where the people were. So that big distance was an issue. I was new, and the musician before me came off, and the coordinator introduced us, and they said, all right, go up there. Well, no one introduced me. So they just, you guys
that's the worst. That's the worst.
Just walked up. Like,
they just gave you the microphone.
Walked up. You just walked up and started talking. Yeah.
Yeah. See, now you guys are laughing because you're a comedian, so you already know what kind of disaster this was.
Yeah. That's the good luck intro.
Yeah, the good luck. Yeah. But the people, people that don't do comedy don't understand. So you guys are already laughing. So I go up there with my newer comedian self, and I just start launching into my set. And I noticed within like the first 60 seconds that people are looking at me like,
what is she doing?
What's she doing up there? She been drinking a little bit?
Like, we just was listening to music.
Oh God, white privilege. She done took the microphone.
Right, like,
God.
When does the music start? Where's the music? Where's her band? What is she talking about?
I know. Is that a crazy lady that just grabbed the mic?
Right.
Someone
Like,
get
there's
that
no
Karen off the
security
stage.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Right?
fun.
I know. And so then, a few minutes in, they started figuring out I was telling jokes. I was a comedian. And then I would get the polite, ha, ha,
ha.
It was just the smaller rumblings of a tummy laugh. Like,
yeah, a little chuckle.
That's the courtesy laugh.
The courtesy
I call it
laugh.
I prefer you just look at your phone and just look.
Yeah, let me fight to get your attention. I don't.
So we all have them, Yeah. But thankfully, I've seen both of you guys perform. That is an anomaly, and thankfully, we don't. A bomb story or a couple of bomb stories is different.
No, I've shaken off most. I've shaken off most of my COVID rust now because.
Oh yeah.
We down in Richmond. So basically the last week of the old world, I had my 15th anniversary show that Wednesday, hosted for Jason Banks that Thursday, and then that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday I was hosting for Tony Roberts. So the whole last week when the talk of COVID was really popping off, I was at the Funny Bone all week. And Sunday hit and the end of the show, and we were at I had went somewhere after the show, and that's when I saw that they had shut down the NBA. And I was like, oh, if they shut down the NBA, oh, this serious. Y'all ain't playing, because that's a lot of money to be lost when you shut down the league. Like the last thing to do that was 9/11, like where they skipped, all sports skipped that week, that pushed the Super Bowl from January to February, so forth and so on. So when I'm like, oh, y'all shutting down the NBA and the NFL and this, and it's just the list kept going on and on. So I was the last person to touch the Richmond Funny Bone mic because I was the host that night. When I closed out the show that Sunday night, that next Monday morning, everything was shut down. Everything was quarantined. All businesses closed if you're not essential. So I'm an Uber driver, so I do Uber Eats. So I was still out, able to make my money doing, food deliveries, but just, it was like I Am Legend. There was nobody out. I had the streets to myself almost every night. And then when the summer rolled around, a few of my friends started back doing open mics. They found some venues that would let them do it. And I started my first open mic back in October. And then I just started the second one not too long. Well, I had two running. I had one on a Monday, one on a Thursday. And then now right now I only have a Tuesday. I stopped my Monday. I got to find another place. But there's slowly starting to be places that are opening back up to physical live comedy, because I'm about like how Travis is. I'm on the internet and I, post my little videos and stuff here and there, but I'm not taking pictures of myself all day. I'm not, hashtagging everything. So the Zoom shows to me was like, I'd rather wait and see how this plays out before I fully give in. Because this is a lot harder to make someone laugh when the response part isn't there, where you're literally just feeding and talking and throwing jokes out there, and you can't hear the people that are watching you laugh back, because it's a call and response that lets you, know you're on the right path. So the Zoom show to me was scary, like, because I come from the traditional part of get on stage, do the stand-up, as opposed to, cut your phone on and you can do it from wherever you're at. And to me, it's like, well, you can't hear the people laughing back. So how do you know if they feel it's funny in this,
Yeah, it really depends, actually. Some of them are like that, and I've done Zoom shows. So some of them are set up like that. But there are several Zoom shows that got into this flow where they'll have a certain number of people as a part of the audience. So
on screen,
on screen, and they'll. Some of them will open up the audio when the performer is doing their set, and it just depends. And it's
so you get
So
you get the
make
reward of the laugh. Yeah.
Yes, but what's interesting is there's a slight delay.
Yeah.
Because you're saying the joke and you're like, did they get it? And then
all of a sudden it's just a burst.
Yeah.
Then it's a burst of laughter, and it's like, oh, I was ready to go to the next one, but okay.
Yeah.
Now let me give y'all 30, your 10 seconds to laugh at this because I didn't know y'all got it.
Yeah. So you do a punchline, way to be, get the laughter, move on to the next one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So interesting. It was an interesting experience, but I'm so excited that we're getting to move into doing these, live shows again.
Yeah.
So, there's going to be some social distancing, of course, still, and people have to be physically safe and all of that. But we're going to get to do that, here pretty soon.
Yeah, and it's the realization that, okay, the old world is never going to fully come back.
No.
It's kind of like, man, I wish things would go back the way it was. Like, it ain't going to happen now. Even if everybody gets vaccinated and masks go away, you still have that lingering effect of what if. So it's still and which at the same time, a lot of the precautions and things that people are doing now, I guess, have been needed over the years. So now the guy that never washed his hands may do it at least twice a week now.
They went back to their old ways, man.
And then some of them went back to some of them went back to the, all right, yeah, where's the hand sanitizer? Cool. Yeah, that's good enough. But it's the old world is never going to fully come back.
Man, the life has changed for me, man.
It's changed for you?
Yeah, it's changed.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, just with the COVID, seeing the financial impact that it has, and then, family, so, I remember the days where I would always have my mom at the show, and, she's a little sick now. So I know that she probably won't be able to attend any,
It's
so
a higher risk factor. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's in that sense it's changed, and, but I'm eager to, still keep pushing, because I still feel like it's a tall order for us to bring healing to the world, and I'm not done with my healing capabilities just yet.
I don't think any of us are done with our healing capabilities. The three of us all are comedians, but we all have or are producing comedy shows. To expand that healing, that provides more shows for people to enjoy and more opportunities for comics. I know, yes. And for you, Travis, I know that you used to produce a good number of shows in the Nova area or DC area. Is that
is correct?
Okay.
That is correct. Over 14, 15 years worth of shows in this area, from where we at now in the parking lot at the Alley Cat. This was a good venue. Right behind me was the old Weons at Landmark Mall. Had that for 10 years. Down the street, I had Jolly's, aka hashtag now. I had that for 7 years. So putting on shows in this area has definitely been a blessing. I've met so many great comedians and built so many great relationships that I feel like in the DMV area, it's time for me to expand my horizons and see what else state I can go out there and put on the map and open the floodgates up to.
They said Texas is booming right now.
To make sure that we can all have a place to, facilitate our comedy. So if I post up down, if I get down Tennessee and you down in Richmond and you in Harrisburg, so that's a three-way connection right there.
There is a three-way connection. That's where you're going, isn't it? In later this summer. Knoxville.
Yeah. The Lord, if thy will, we still praying on it. Hopefully my mom will be able to have her strength. I can't leave until she's able to travel. And so if you can, just say a prayer for her if you can. She needs it.
Is she still in the hospital or did she make it home?
She was supposed to come home Saturday. She's in the hospital to answer your question, and she slipped into a stroke kind of stage while in the hospital. So, this if you can, just say a prayer. Whoever listening, say a prayer for her. Her name is Thelma Spencer. So, if you can, just say a prayer for her.
And this is just coming to me right now. If you don't mind, I can pray for her right now. If that's okay.
All right, let's do it.
All right, it's Thelma, right?
Yes.
Thelma. Dear Heavenly Father, we just lift up Travis's mother to you, Thelma. We just pray that you put your hand of healing over her and the people that are caring for her. We pray that she have her health completely restored and that their plans to Knoxville do come to fruition, Lord. And we just put you in her care and that you lead their steps and show the way. And I'm a Christian. Amen. So in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. I feel good. Yay. Yeah. I ain't mean to do all that.
I'm saying ain't no Dom's gonna break out the prayer on us.
Yeah. Well,
where's my robe? She yelled back to her. Where's my robe?
I know.
The real task. She said the real task is here now.
I just felt it, and I understand not all my listeners are Christian, and whatever your faith is and higher power,
Amen.
I don't disrespect that, but that's just where I come from personally. I felt led to do
like they used to do in school. if you don't say the Lord's Prayer, just take a moment of silence.
There you go. Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah, no judgment here. Yeah,
I'm not put here to judge you on it. And sometimes I look at it like everybody just got a different name for the same entity, and that's just the logic part of it is it's. Different religions, y'all talking about the same person. It's just you met him at a different time. He might have been a Buddhist when you met him. He might have wanted you to rub his belly when you met him, but and then he wanted lambs when he was over here. It's okay. It's the same guy.
Even part of the podcast description says we'll talk about faith, and everybody shares the same faith. So, we just did it. First time we've had a little discussion about faith. I love it.
Touched all the bases.
Yes. That's right. I like it. I just wanted to kind of move into just talking about what we're getting ready to do. We are so excited that you guys are coming back as the world starts opening up for this kickoff comedy and Kizomba event at Friendly City Dance Room. Have either of you ever done a comedy show that's part dance lesson, part comedy show?
Nope.
No. Negative.
Yeah, it's very new territory.
I love it. And you're taking the risk. I love it. Coming down here to check it out. Have you ever heard of Kizomba? It's a type of dance. Have you ever heard of it?
I've heard of Zumba. I've heard of Roomba. That's the one that vacuums for you. Kazooie or kazoo. I've heard of that. But all 3 or 4 of those words put together, I've never experienced it.
Okay. So you guys are down for a brand new experience. I'm excited about that. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about Kizomba. I think the listeners, I'm going to invite you to hear more about that too, so you know what you're getting into when you buy your ticket. But Kizomba is a partner African dance that originates from Angola. It's characterized by close partner connection with smooth, grounded movement. So it's a bit sensual, to be honest with you. Yeah. And so you guys haven't tried it. Are you planning to bring a partner or a date?
We ain't dancing together, brother.
No, that's totally understood.
Make sure you have some single ladies in there.
I'm pretty sure you're a great lead, but I'll pass. I'll pass at this particular rodeo if you don't.
Understood. But you both are more than welcome to bring a date. And I'm sure
I had one planned, so now I gotta plan another one.
Yeah.
Don, you trying to get me in trouble, Don. You trying to get me in trouble. Who you taking, Travis? Who you taking?
Right. Now's gonna be broadcast out there like, oh, who is he taking to the prom? We gotta know.
Oh man.
The Roomba prom. The one they was talking about? They're going to Roomba with the prom clothes.
Oh,
but Yeah, I may have a dance partner. I might just,
I ain't gonna have one. I'm put out there now.
Okay. That's fine. You don't have
that
to
should be
bring one.
provided.
Right.
Part of the contract, right?
Just dancing though.
It's the dancing portion of the evening. You can now select your contractual obligated dance partner. Yeah, there we go.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so good. Well, I didn't mean to put you all on the spot, or maybe I did. I don't know.
That's all good. I'm comfortable.
This has been so great. You guys have been amazing. I have had so much fun with you guys today.
I did too.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yes. So listeners, to join us for all the fun and meet these hilarious comedians, this is your lineup for the Kickoff Comedy and Kizomba event happening on May 8th, 2021 at Friendly City Dance Room. To get your tickets, you can go to friendlycitydanceroom.com or x2comedy.com. We thank you for listening. Do you two want to say bye to the listeners? Any special last messages to listeners?
Definitely. We'll see you all there. Definitely appreciate the time, opportunity, and being invited out again for X2 Comedy. So thank you to you, Dawn. And yeah, we're gonna have some fun. I'll learn some new dance moves, and I'll have my mop ready in case I really don't come with a dance partner. I'll just dance with a mop. I'll do it like the romance comedies. Like, what is he doing over there? It's a mop. Like, no, this is my date. Her name is Moppin' Gloisha. She is she is here to accompany me for the evening.
Well, between microphone Nina
and Moppin' Gloisha.
That's what I was gonna say.
I should have someone. One of the two. One of the two gonna show up.
I was like, he's got a name for everyone or everything. Yeah. How about you, Travis? You got any last messages?
Just thank the listeners for listening and supporting live comedy and supporting you, X2 Comedy. Thank you for allowing us to have this platform, and I can't wait to see everybody in live.
Yes, same here.
May 8th. I'm gonna make sure I have my comfortable Timberlands on too.
You keep those Timberlands on. All right, listeners, I'm gonna hang on the Zoom call with these guys for just a second, but we'll say bye to you guys for now. Say bye, guys. Bye.
Bye. Adios.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Virginia is for Laughers podcast, brought to you by X2 Comedy. We'll be dropping a new podcast every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so check back for another uplifting episode. Come to an X2 Comedy show or let us bring a show to you. To find out more, head to x2comedy.com. Be sure to share us with a friend. Until next time, cheers.